Good evening, Lulu. Well, there's 3 minutes on the agenda tomorrow to elect him because this is an entirely procedural issue. The chairperson of the Africa Union rotates between the 5 regions of Africa. It is Southern Africa's turn, and President Mugabe is next in line. He does not represent what Africa would like to represent, the future, but I think the problem here really is that there's no clear criteria for this rotating position. So he's next in line, he will be elected, it's purely a procedural issue, and he will serve as chair of the Africa Union.
Now, how will his appointment impact the image of the AU as a progressive continental body?
Well, Mugabe represents Africa's past. It represents what Africa is trying to get away from. A long-serving authoritarian leader who has been in power for decades and has overseen an economy that is now roughly the size of Swaziland. It used to be about the third largest economy in Southern Africa. So he's something of an embarrassment, both within Addis Ababa and in the continent. But he's an elder statesman. He's respected for his contribution to the liberation of Zimbabwe. But he does not represent, I think, the kind of image that we would like to see, particularly around Agenda 2063, around NEPAD, around these issues that you've just been reporting on.
Now, Dr. Cilliers, until recently, President Mugabe faced travel bans from the West. How will he represent Africa at international forums?
Well, I think that if he's invited, in terms of protocol, he will be provided, probably allowed to attend, but it will be, it won't be welcome. And probably there will be issues around visas for his wife and so on. So it will create sand in the machine. Instead of somebody that we can be proud of, that represents Africa, that represents the new era of the growing Africa, we have an elder statesman who has very little to offer for the future. And I don't think Africa's Western donors will really look towards him. Even in China, when he went to China, China's patience with Mugabe has run out. He went there recently to try and get, I think it was 10 billion rand loan to try and deal with some of his challenges. The Chinese turned him down.
Now, Dr. Cilliers, with regards to the veteran leader having documented hostile relations with the West for over a decade, how will this impact on Africa's engagement, especially with key international partners, on issues like the Ebola epidemic and the fighting terrorism on the continent?
Well, I think what would happen is that Western partners will simply try and avoid engagement directly with him. They will either deal directly with the chairperson, Dr. Dlamini Zuma, or with the affected countries, like in Nigeria, with the countries surrounding around Nigeria, neighboring Nigeria, that are engaged in the fight with Boko Haram. They will deal with Mugabe if they have no choice, but certainly they would try and avoid that.
And now let's speak to the issue of one of the world's richest men, Bill Gates, who has acknowledged that Zimbabwe could be on the right track as land redistribution may be the engine that Africa needs to achieve sustained high growth and turn into a development success. What's your take on that?
That is completely incorrect. This reference comes from a blog that Bill Gates posted on the 1st of December, which I have in front of me, which is basically a book review of a book on Asia, and it's entitled, "Can the Asian Miracle Happen in Africa?" It does not mention Mugabe at all. It is a review of how smallhold agriculture in Asia was turned around, and he basically asked the question, can this happen in Africa? A Zimbabwean journalist republished, literally cut and pasted the entire article and put a headline to it, and it's called "The World's Richest Man Acknowledges That Mugabe Could Be Right." It's posted by Charles Rukuni, who's a well-known journalist, a cut and paste job, which puts a headline onto a story that has got absolutely no mention of Mugabe. If I was Bill Gates, I'd be quite upset.
Now, Dr. Cilliers, before I let you go, the question of membership to the International Criminal Court has been a thorny issue in the AU. Will it be given prominence during the summit?
I don't know. This year I didn't go to Addis. I normally attend summits. It's an ongoing issue between Africa and the ICC. Africa feels that the ICC unfairly targets Africa, although most of the cases in front of the International Criminal Court are self-referrals. And you may have noticed that in recent months, the profile of the ICC is much lower. I think the prosecutor has decided to reduce the profile of Africa, and because there is a justification for the fact that why are only African cases in front of the court? This is an issue that a number of countries, Sudan, Kenya, have pushed quite vehemently, but at the end of the day, more than 30 countries are members of the ICC. We helped to develop the ICC, and it seems like the steam out of the push to pull back from the ICC has temporarily died down, but I'm not in touch with what's happening in Addis at the moment when the summit starts tomorrow.
Dr. Cilliers, thank you so much for joining us. That was our studio guest, Dr. Jakkie Cilliers from the Institute for Security Studies, speaking to us about the impending ascendancy of Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe to the position of Chair of the African Union.